I rise today to introduce the Hardrock Mining and Reclamation Act of 2015. First, I want to thank Senator Heinrich, who will be here with me in a moment and be speaking, for working with me on this bill. He's a dedicated conservation senator from the West and really cares about this issue, and we've both been working together on this. I so much appreciate all of his hard work and his commitment to this important legislation. And I also want to thank Senator Bennett and Senator Wyden, thank them for their support and hard work on this bill. I'd also like to thank our New Mexico colleague, Congressman Ben Ray Lujan, for his efforts on the House side. We are proposing this bill for one reason: to reform the mining law of 1872. It is a matter of simple fairness, it is a matter of common sense, and it is a reform that is long overdue. The 1872 mining law played a historic role in the settling of the West. It encouraged mining for silver, gold, copper, uranium, and other minerals on public lands. It helped the West to grow, but there was a price, one we are still paying. It did almost nothing to compensate the public, it did nothing to protect the environment, and it did nothing to require mines to clean up the mess. Did nothing to require those mines to clean up the mess. The legacy is clear. Thousands of abandoned mines, contaminated land, polluted streams, costly cleanup, and taxpayers stuck with the bill. We have a 19th century law which is totally inadequate to 21st century challenges. The spill at the Gold King mine earlier this year tells the story. With terrible damage in my state and in other states and in the Navajo Nation, this is a disaster on many levels, to our water, our economy, and to our culture. Mistakes were made at the Gold King mine. We have to do all we can to make sure they are not made again, and to make sure that our communities are fairly compensated for losses. That's why Senator Heinrich and I introduced the Gold King Mine Spill Recovery Act of 2015. But the Gold King mine disaster is also a wake-up call. The mine is still there, the owners are not. There are up to 500,000 abandoned mines in our country. They are a ticking time bomb. They are leaking toxins into our rivers and streams in the West and have been for decades. It will cost tens of billions of dollars to fix this. Anywhere, the estimates say, from $20 billion to $54 billion with a B, billions. A mining royalty will bring fairness to taxpayers and help pay for the cleanup. I've pushed for, and I will keep pushing for, mining reform, first in the House and now in the Senate, because I believe in a simple principle: the polluter pays. The polluter pays. But under current law, the mining companies do not pay, not for the minerals they take, not for the damages they have done. This cannot continue. They cannot continue to reap all the benefit and hundreds of millions of dollars while taxpayers continue to shoulder all the burden. This goes against every notion of simple fairness. Working Americans know this, middle-class families know this, both sides of the aisle know this. The 1872 mining law also basically gives away federal land. For $5, less than what a working American pays for lunch, mining companies can buy an acre of federal land if they discover a valuable mineral deposit. So there's no surprise here. Hardrock mining companies don't want reform. They've had a free ride for a long time. No wonder they want to keep it. But it is long past time for that ride to end. Coal, oil, and gas companies have paid royalties for many decades. Hardrock mining companies, including foreign mining companies, should do the same. Our bill will require that they do that. It's not a radical idea. The oil industry pays a small fee on every barrel of oil. The coal industry pays a small fee on each ton of coal, and the sky has not fallen in. And when disasters happen, from oil spills to abandoned coal mines, these industries bear some of the cost. Madam President, history may explain why the 1872 law was created, but it's hard to see now why it should continue. What began as an effort to settle the West has become a gravy train for multi-billion-dollar companies, and not just American companies, but foreign ones as well. We know that taxpayers are getting shortchanged. We just don't know how much. In 2011, I asked the General Accounting Office for the numbers. They couldn't say. Not only do the Hardrock mining companies not pay, they don't disclose. And under current law, they don't have to. Not how much they extract from federal lands, not where the minerals are sold, not the overall value, and at the same time, oil, gas, and coal brought in $11.4 billion in federal revenue. We need to get this done. We can't keep asking working Americans and struggling communities to foot the bill while mining companies reap the profit. Madam President, let's be clear. The silver and gold on public lands are a natural resource. They belong to the American people. They should be an investment for public good, not a giveaway for private gain. After my father left office after 8 years as Secretary of Interior, he was asked what were his big regrets. And he said mining reform was his greatest unfinished business. 50 years later, we still need to do this, and we still need to do it now. We have an outdated law, special treatment for the profits of large hard rock mining companies is not a reason to keep it, at least not to the taxpayers of my state. It's time to stop giving away the store. It's time to reform the mining law of 1872. It's the right thing to do. It's the fair thing to do. I urge my colleagues to support this bill, and let's get this done. Now, I was just in a press conference with Senator Heinrich and Senator Bennett where we talked, and one of the questions that was asked was, how are you working at building bipartisan support, and is there bipartisan support? And I just wanted to say a word on that, because we have seen very solid bills pass here in Washington with bipartisan support. And one of the ones I just wanted to point out, in 2007 in the House, Nick Rahal had a mining reform bill. He had Republican co-sponsors by the name of Wayne Gilchrist and Representative Christopher Shays. 24 Republicans in the House passed that bill, 244 to 166. And Paul Ryan, who was in my class when I came into Congress in 1998, we arrived here at the same time. Paul's now the Speaker over in the House. Paul Ryan voted yes for mining reform back in 2007 on this Rahal bill. And so I think if you look at the history here, this is a bill where we need to work with both sides of the aisle, and I hope and wish Senator Ryan, Congressman Ryan and Speaker Ryan the best, and I hope you'll join us in this effort to reform this long, outdated law.